Now everybody tell me if you can hear me.
Oh, found it.
Found our spot.
Yeah.
So Xeno, I don't know if you've heard of us at all before or not, but a lot of people picked up some of the camp strats from us, which was unfortunate because then they nerfed them immediately afterwards. But
For example.
E-Gate is one thing that we know that it wasn't only from us,
No, not at all.
but
We were one of the ones.
we were sadly one of our people decided to do it a bunch on camera in everyone's view. To which we said, "What are you doing? Do you want a waypoint again?" Okay, thanks. Wait, is it up or down?
It's up.
Okay. So how much have you done it, Xeno?
Um, so are we talking about in?
Oh, synthesis. Well, either one. Everything.
I've done a chunk of synthesis only because I've had to run Sagas Rock I don't know how many times to get the Ember Helmet.
Yeah, still haven't done that. I basically gave up on trying to do the Chroma quest. Someone actually bought it for me, and I went, okay, I'm not going to complain. So I'm on my first forma, which is why I'm squishy.
Right. Yeah, no, because I've actually got the stream on one of my other monitors, and I'm seeing how you do the Chroma. So like, oh, I haven't done the Chroma quest yet.
Yeah, I started it, and I think we've actually played through almost all of it with at least one of our guys. We've played through the end with it with somebody.
That was me.
No, with him.
Well, going back to the question of what I've done with it, I've basically, I've captured not a large number of dudes. I'm actually going to Samaris now to find out how many I have done. Unless there's an easy way to tell.
Oh,
Nope.
nice, I needed that.
Okay.
I wish.
But yeah, I've done 7. There we go. That's something.
Okay.
The one thing I'm kind of disappointed by is the fact that it's another codec scanner.
Yes, that was what one of our impressions was that it, even though it's another codec scanner, Helios will not do it for you.
I don't mind that too much. It's just the fact that it's just an entirely new scanner, and I've got both in my inventory. I'm just like, could this not be an upgrade to the last one?
Right.
I've got like a really weird
Yeah, what is that? It is
thing
weird.
around my feet. But I think
Got
it's off.
like an aura underneath you.
Yeah, it's off.
It's an invisibility aura? I don't know. Of weirdness?
Oh, that could be because of Corona.
No, because I didn't have a buff up at the time. But, so I guess, is there anything that you would suggest for a change or hope that they would change to solve it? Because now that they've already done them separately, do you think they would just say, whatever, don't care, you keep it how it is, change it and make some people happy?
Well, I think it's a really easy thing to change, because originally I thought, oh no, it's going to be a real it's going to be a real problem to actually change.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've just done the mission, one part of the quest line for Chroma. Has anyone done the quest line for Chroma?
We've done
Don't know what's the last.
we've done some of it.
I've got the systems for it.
I completed the entire thing.
The quest to get the systems, you have to scan something, but you don't actually have to scan the specific pinpoints. You have to scan the entire entity. So I'm like, well, that's
Okay.
the original codex. So why can't we just have this do both jobs?
See, I think that would make a lot more sense.
So it's just like, you know, you don't have to have to. Yeah, it would be nice if DE goes, oh, well, you can buy normal codec scanners, but then if you put in like 100 polymer bundles per codec scanner, or per 10 or whatever, convert
turn
them
it
into
into a
synthesis scanners.
That would be,
That's a lot of polymer bundles still, though.
or even just put in neural sensor, which would make sense.
Yeah.
Like 1 for 100 or something, or
Yeah, 1 for 100, or just one whenever, whatever size. I mean, it wouldn't. That would obviously give people a motivation to buy the larger ones or research the larger ones,
yeah.
if there was a research for it. But I think that would be interesting, and it would allow for they would build in the system with that for multiple builds from the same blueprint, which would be an interesting change that would make a lot of differences with how things can be made, and it would condense the foundry.
Though saying this, I don't feel that it's game-breakingly
Terrible.
Oh my god, dude, why haven't you done this? I can't be bothered to deal with. No, I mean it still functions as is.
Mhm.
It's just a bit. Why is that two?
Right, because I mean that's a spot that you could put something else in that's at least as useful.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you know this, Chroma's effigy actually at max rank will give you double credits.
That's 60%
I think it's affected
chance
by
to give you
power,
that.
power
Yeah.
strength as well. I'm not sure.
So his effigy, his effigy. I'm sure you've already looked at it, but his effigy is his 4th ability for everybody watching. The pelt, and I should not keep running out there.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Not should I?
Oh my god.
Okay,
no.
buff time.
Okay.
Hey, I needed that. That's nice.
I think I need the barrel.
Yeah, I need the barrel as well, but yeah. I think there are ways that they could have done it that would have kept it equally good in terms of utility, but not so frustrating. So I think that's the really big thing, is it's more just annoying than anything with the scanners.
Yeah.
Is Ford
But
down already?
not game-breaking.
Right.
Oh, there he is.
So like all of his health.
I'm sure if it was game breaking, they would at least have tried to fix it by now.
Yeah. So I mean, because obviously the part of the problem is that you could just take the synthesis scanners, but if you've got a Helios, you have to have the normal codec scanner.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, not the end of the world, but yeah.
But could be better. So I guess the other thing is, what do you think of the rest of Cimaris? How did some of his other functionality?
Well, I'm gonna touch on the lore. I think he's a brilliant character delivering lore. He's divulged more about Ordis than we've had since beginning of update 14.
Since the beginning of Mad Cephalon, yeah. I think that sounds right.
Yeah, so yeah, because 15 was Arcwing. So yeah, we've had more lore from Cimaris about the Cephalons, and even specifically Ordis, than we have for the entire 14 and 15, which is great. When you go into the Sanctuary itself, and Cimaris is right there in your face, that also gives like a huge bucket load of feels. It's like, oh my god, what the heck is looking down?
Yeah, it's like, get away from me. I don't know what you are.
He definitely thinks highly of himself, probably, because he's projecting himself so largely.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially since we've already seen that Cephalons come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah,
Got him.
There we go.
not for that.
Roar's down.
Well,
Woohoo.
there is a theory that is bouncing
so.
between Loz and I, which is we're wondering as to what could be the possible development of Samaris. Where would you feel DE could take Samaris?
See, that's interesting. I think he may. I think the Mad Cephalon applies to more than just Ortis in that way. Because a lot of them feel a lot like the AIs from Halo, where they go crazy after a time for one reason or another. So I think it could go the path of Ortis, where he becomes kind of psycho.
If he wasn't already.
If he wasn't already, yeah. If this is normal, yeah. If this is normal for a Cephalon,
I don't think it is. Because, like,
Well, there is that quote from Samaris, beginning of the Chroma quest, where he's talking about all the other units like Ortis were damaged beyond repair.
right?
yeah,
So
well,
he's a
probably
new,
is, yeah.
yeah.
But you're
Just
saying
to bring it
about,
to
like,
people's
Keenan.
attentions, there's actually a former alert up right now.
Yes.
Yep, we saw.
Hey, some people. Yeah, just some people mentioning on Twitch. Yes, he is a bit of a creep, and he needs a. I don't know. It very much makes him a little more real with him popping in and just being in your face, I think.
Right.
Because if he was just like all the other syndicates, it's like, okay, yeah, you're lifeless. We don't really care about you. But this, I mean, he doesn't give you a choice but to be engaged with him when you're in his room. Yeah.
He's a bit obtrusive though when you want to go up to the leaderboard.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard people complain saying, like, you can't actually see the leaderboard properly because
Yeah.
he's so in your face.
Scale.
I'm not actually
That
having an
and
issue
the
with
amount
that.
of people there.
I haven't had an issue with him. I've had an issue with the people. Like, yeah,
That's
like
why
Onyx
I'm
said.
going to Pluto.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's actually exactly why I go to Pluto. Well, see, I go to Pluto, but then I stand like 10 feet back and I turn towards it.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not really how it was meant to be, but regardless. It's kind of sad that the majority of people are focused in that one room now, though. Because it's becoming another Barracuteer.
Can you put up
Yep.
your effigy, like, right behind you? Oh, the orcs do?
I don't think it's too bad the fact of him being potentially another Barracuteer.
Right. I mean it in a very negative sense of he's just sucking up all of the frames per second because, well, no, yeah, exactly, because everybody's standing over there instead of there being anybody else to talk to for any good reason.
Okay, well, we're talking about the relays here. Xeno, have you launched any missions from the relay yet?
No, have they actually got the return to the relay thing in
Yes, they
there?
have.
Yes, so it's actually on it's fixed and it's rather nice.
I quite like it.
I know
think
I
would
know
use
some people get annoyed, but either way.
as long as I could edit my loadouts, I would definitely use the relay all the time, I think.
Which it also sometimes feels like that's where they're going towards, is scrapping a lot of the Lizette stuff. Because while they added a couple things this last time, there was obviously more work put into the relays. I mean, they're huger. They have more concrete plans for it already.
Well,
Also, Effigy is immune from the bubbles.
Oh, nice.
As I've had this Effigy up this entire time. Hmm?
Put it like right in front of my thing then, my vortex.
That's what I was doing. Well, but I don't want him to get hit right away. I mean, I know it doesn't matter, but I guess I could, couldn't I?
Yeah, because I get pulled into it anyways, and if it's hitting the nullifiers, that's what you said, right? It hits the nullifiers?
Well, it doesn't hit the nullifiers. Like, it won't damage anything in the bubble still. But it's not deactivated.
Oh, well, okay.
So, Sazo mentioned something in chat that maybe the sentience is AI that rebelled. Since we are going down more of the Cephalon path lately.
I can see that.
I thought, and I'm sure Lars is listening to this and he will kick me for getting this wrong. I thought the sentients were actually beings from another solar system that were linked to via the void.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know that we actually know much about them besides they are enemies of the Orkin, or quote-unquote enemies of the Orkin, and the Orkin fled to the void.
Yeah, to get away from
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, no, I thought there was discussion somewhere where basically the Orokin had gone to their solar system through the void, through effectively like subspace or whatever.
So basically back to where they were.
Yeah, and then
Mm.
they had come back either through the void or whatever, which they weren't too impressed with, and as a result, there was the huge war. But then we defeated them. I don't know. Maybe we prevented them from following us back through the void, and then as a result, they're now having to fly by hand. You know, by
Nice.
Well, that's what you want.
Let's go.
Damn it,
Yep.
I want the Loki.
Wait, what
Okay,
is
so
Loki
we're-
cap at?
20.
20.
Oh, so another 20.
I
We can stay. We can stay.
Well, do we not have multiple keys or something?
Yeah, we do. I have 90 something,
Oh, wow.
but it's not like we're not doing fine. But yeah, I think that is an interesting theory, since the solar rails of late have been, or of always have been reminiscent of mass relays. So
he's literally just poked me, saying yes, they're from another.
well, tell him he can come in if he wants.
I'm sure he's heard this. I'm sure he'll poke me if he wants to come in.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so it's interesting to see what they're doing. I actually wonder if some of the whispers from the void that Captain Vor is actually hearing is actually potentially
Sentience. I think that would be interesting, since they're probably not Orican, and we really don't know what the neural sentry is. I mean, obviously that we think it's the
The automated defense system, isn't it? In a way?
right.
Like
We
it
don't know
affects
much more than that, though.
into the void. For whatever reason, we're not affected. Whether it just doesn't target Tano, and then like infects them, and then the attackers become the defenders against their own like race or whatever.
So Blanderback, I'm guessing that's how you're trying to say it, dude. I don't know what you're trying to say, but sorry, the guy in chat. He's basically saying, agreeing with some of the others, that it's probably they very well could be something like AIs in control of machines. I mean, obviously we don't know what the sentients are. I don't know why we would give them that name unless it was they were sentient in a spectacular manner, so to speak.
Yeah.
I feel that it's I've heard oh god, there's one of the villains of Mass Effect. I didn't like Mass Effect, so I got bored and didn't finish it. But
Same here. Same here.
I've heard the name of the villains of the Mass Effect thrown around, and I feel that they're a mix of they're a variation of the Borg from Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they adapt to different things and so on and so forth.
Okay, that does make sense, because the entire idea of the Borg is one sentient. There is one consciousness.
Yeah.
Now my effigy is slowly getting lower. Interesting.
Though I feel
Not really.
I feel that the Borg is actually a collection of consciousnesses actually deciding uniformly different things. I mean, it's really confusing how the Borg actually work.
Well, yeah, I don't think the Borg work nearly as well as they think they do.
No, I don't think they do. Until you actually have the one that was based off the 27th century technology, which then
Right.
killed itself. That's how they killed themselves.
Because they realize how broken they are. Oh.
Anyway, one question I'd like to know is, has anyone done any of the raid stuff?
We have tried. We have I haven't seen any of it yet. My problem has been resources of late, because they did decrease the amount of drops from dark sector defenses, for example. So fewer credits across the board
Until you get into raids.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, Zeno, but it appears that you're getting 357,000 credits for completing a raid or so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, considering that it's 500,000 for an arcane enhancement,
Yep.
or to build an arcane,
How much?
500,000.
For the first
Yeah.
Wow.
You can trade those, can't you? You can just make plot off of them.
No, you can't.
You can.
I heard you can.
Oh wow.
Well, you may be able to trade arcane enhancements, but not arcanes.
Like the ones that you get
Yeah.
from the raid. I don't know. What
Can you trade arcanes?
I've seen people posting in the like trade chat, like want to sell, you know, whatever thing, like the enhancements, but
Interesting.
whether it's the completed item or not, I don't know.
Well, because it's probably not worth some of them building them. I mean, they all look very interesting, but they also look very expensive.
Yeah, because people were saying, like, for the kind of what you can get from some of them, like, you know, is it really worth 500,000 credits? Which, and again, because of the nerfs, would take, you know, absolutely ages and ages to farm.
Exactly. For example, Seamanai, Xeno, they decreased from... You used to be able to get 50k per run with a booster. Now you can get 20k with a booster. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
Well, if you take the chroma, you have 60% chance to actually
Right.
double that.
If you take a chroma,
Efficient,
but
which is really nice, actually.
yeah.
Wait, I just, sorry. I don't know why it's taking me so long to realize. Oh, lol, dragon hoarding all the treasure. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
I only just twigged that, so yeah. Good going, brain. Thanks.
It took me a little bit to connect. That's the same thing.
Instant dragon style.
Well, all Western Lord dragons, really,
Yeah.
especially English lore.
Good old English.
Good old English.
I got DC'd.
Uh-oh. Aren't you the one who needed the, Oh, that's too bad.
So
No,
yeah,
I don't
back
need
to,
frost.
to the raids.
Yes.
So how far has anyone actually gotten?
I went into a party with some random people because I couldn't get into one with anyone else, and it was just mayhem, and we didn't even get past the battery bit
Right.
because everyone was just running all over the place and didn't really understand. Obviously,
So
what to
is
do
that-
is a team.
Is that the first battery bit, or?
Yes, literally the first thing you have to do. Because say, for example, people would stand on the pressure plates as you're supposed to walk through the rooms, but then leave people behind, so they just get stuck on their own and couldn't get through the doors and stuff like that. Now,
Yeah.
I know it's obviously supposed to be communication based rather than just sort of a DPS fight, but even so.
Well, I've run it twice. The first time we hadn't got a clue what we were doing. We actually managed to twig quite a few things, but it was difficult. We didn't have the right frames with us and things. The second time I did it with Magamu's clan. He was very kind enough to actually invite me to come along. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
That's rather nice.
Yeah, and we were there,
Oh,
and
really?
it was absolutely hilarious. We were there, I think, for like an hour, trying to work out how to do the first room, because one of the mechanics is you have to hack these 4 terminals, and we couldn't find where one of the terminals was.
Ah.
It was really obscure, and when we eventually found it, the rest of it was a breeze because we knew what we were doing then. But
Okay, so basically you finished twice.
no. First time we wiped horribly.
Oh, okay, okay.
Second time, we finished the first part, but then because it took us an hour and a half, people couldn't actually commit any further. Like, it was 1 in the morning for me, and I was just like, I really should go to bed.
I've had that reaction several times of, I don't know if I really want to do this because it's already X time and I want to sleep.
Yeah. So we got to the second part, and then we went, no, we're gonna stop now. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm the least experienced for that part in the group, but well, it doesn't help doing what I do for work. I mean, I think the first night I was at work until 6. Well, no. Yeah, 6:30, and then I was like, well, yep, I'm wiped for the day. Let's see if I can actually get this to update. But yeah, that was the other thing. The initial complete lack of being able to get in for the first 2 hours was rather disappointing.
Can I ask what time zone you guys are?
So I'm Central. Ads is UK, and Xander is Eastern US. So two US, two, and you and Ads are UK.
Right. Okay. Because I didn't really bother with update 16 until Friday evening because, like, yeah, I wasn't gonna stay up until silly o'clock in the morning.
Right. Because it just doesn't work.
No. So apparently he stayed up until 3 in the morning, yeah, he had to be in work the next day. So fun times.
Yes, that was. I know they said, okay, we'll have it in we'll have it in on Thursday, but it was very tenuous in on Thursday. I mean, obviously it got in, and they didn't pull what they did with, was it 15, where they were like, oh, we got it in.
14.
Okay, one of them they got in just before midnight midway time, and they're like, we still got it in. It's like, come on, D. I know what you're doing here.
I don't think it's too bad the fact that they did actually manage to get it in because some people are like, oh, it's not coming for like 14 days because that's how many pivots there are on that thing in the middle of the. Actually, that was me entirely. I'm going to put my hand up for that. So I actually thought it was going to be 14 days since they did the sneak peek page.
See, that's what I was actually saying as well.
But I have a further point if I can remember what it is. But the fact that DE actually didn't sort of dangle the proverbial carrot for too long, I think is great.
Right. It was nice that it was fast, but at the same time, because they weren't giving very clear development timelines in terms of this is being done after these things. Like, the Sentience update is really 17, not 16, like everyone was thinking after 10.0 Live.
Do you think it was fair for people, the community, to this is my personal thing, and I don't represent Lars in any capacity in this, because I know he doesn't like me talking about this. But do you think it was fair of the community to jump on the back of DE going, oh, we're getting Sentience in update 16?
I don't think it was right of them to jump on them, but I think it was right of them to say, okay, so do you want to tell us what order this is coming in?
And they did.
And they did. They did after quite a bit of the hype train, though.
And then hype train crashed horribly.
Right.
Actually, I'm going to say this, and he's going to cringe for this. Do you know the hype train that appears on the forums all the time?
Oh yeah, I know it's yours.
It's not mine. It's Loz's.
Okay, sorry. Your channels. I should be specific. I actually did know that.
Well, I mean, to be honest, though, like obviously Samaris is due to be involved with the lore for a number of weeks or whatever as the different enemies come through and we unlock different pieces of it. But I mean, there's nothing to say, obviously, that I mean, for the fact that we've already delved in further into lore, obviously to do with the sentience, with the quest. There's nothing to say that further down the line there may be additional things, and we may even sort of, I don't know, see a sentient in a sense, but not have like the whole
picture yet.
Maybe, like I say, another raid, we go here, do this, do whatever.
Mm.
But it may still be saying, like, let's say 16.5,
This is interesting.
where, you know, it actually says, like, this is the sentience and this is what's happening, and rather than some mysterious invisible voice, you know, we actually say, oh, there's X sentient guy who's, you know, the boss or whatever. And
I'm almost wondering if it's not really a matter of there's a single unifying directing force as much as this whole group is directed towards this end for whatever reason by their creator or what.
yeah,
I think I just found a glitch in the U16.
Well, we found a lot of those. Be specific.
Got my hotkey, my top gear hotkey on the 5, and Mace's Peacemakers on 4, and I hit them at the same time. So now I'm stuck in a slow motion mode where I'm just constantly draining energy in Peacemaker, but it's not letting me switch off of my synthesis scanners.
Oh.
So that's why I'm so far.
Can you hit 4 and then hit F?
4 won't let me hit because it says power in use. 5 won't let me hit anything, won't do anything.
We'll hit F. Oh, okay.
Nope. Holding F won't do anything. I can't hit other powers because 4 is in use.
Okay, you should screenshot that and put it on the forums. Not that that's necessarily very effective. So, Xeno, if you're wondering why the stream is in a very wide mode, I don't know if what you're viewing it on.
I was looking at it, and it was
21.9 monitor.
Yeah, it's because I'm using an ultra wide.
Really?
I love these things, but
I ended up buying myself very recently a Corsair Vengeance keyboard.
mhm.
I thought I might like this. I might not like this.
I know I was tweeting with you about it on.
Oh yes, of course. Absolutely love it. Oh,
Which one did you get?
it was the K70 RGB red cherry keys.
They're very nice, indeed.
Nice. It's like best thing I've made in a long time. But anyway, so one question I'd have is how frequently would you like to see raids from DE?
I'm honestly kind of hoping about every half update.
So every 1.5, 0.5 rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess in a way, like depending on how much they can, I guess you could say like kind of commit to it in a way, or
Yeah, or how much of a backbone they already have in place.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Oh, yeah, I needed that.
So because they had said at one point that quests are going to be easy to put together now because it's going to be so easy. That never happened.
That was the plan. That was their hope.
Right, but they had said, well, they had pretty much said in one of the dev streams, it's ready now. We just have to build the content for it. The problem was, then they came out later and said, well, it turns out that the people who were building it were very narrow-minded on it and decided to actually bork some of it on purpose. So that it was basically because they wanted it so that it had the stuff that they were already building, but not anything further easily added.
Yeah. I mean, take it from I don't know what any of your particular career backgrounds are or anything, but when as a developer you actually have, you need to build this very flexible thing that can do pretty much anything. You hear, we want you to do the impossible.
Oh yes. Every time I hear it. And as much as I agree that there is the extent to which that's what we hear sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all projects are necessarily impossible.
No, you're right. But having a system accommodate for anything is...
Oh, right. Anything, yes. I guess that's the thing. It's not necessarily anything, it's anything within their scope.
Yeah.
So...
But anyway, so I don't want to get too gritty about it.
we argue about that quite frequently. These guys know I'm also a developer, as if you haven't picked that up from my tweets. You just made me very sad.
Or did I want you to spell it out to the community?
Yes, everybody, I'm also a developer. I've already told them, but they all know who I work for anyway. I mean, you can see my face. I'm not like you.
Oh! Nope, no one's going to see my face, ever.
I've watched your vlog, and I laugh every time.
Yep.
Well, because what is it, the second one you uploaded because the first one got dumped or something? Or what did you do?
Okay, no, yeah, no, the second episode of the vlog, I was like, oh, it hasn't rendered properly because I'm trying to render it at 60 FPS.
Okay.
So, what I'll do is I'll delete the all the Sony Vegas files. I'll delete the export files, and then I'll just go into FaceRig and export it again as 30 FPS. Except for this idiot right here accidentally deleted the export from FaceRig, so the recording of FaceRig, which meant I had to record it again. So,
I actually looked at that.
Don't do shift delete all the time.
I only do when I'm working on people's new computers.
I shift delete everything.
Like, you shouldn't have this on here yet. Shift delete. You don't know. You shouldn't have McAfee. Shift delete.
Oh god. Oh god. We have to have McAfee at work. Anyway, no, I'm not gonna like
Same
this
here.
at work.
Anyway.
So yeah, it would be great from D if we
And I
could
will.
actually get a raid every half a patch, but obviously we have no idea what it takes to actually do that.
Right. Exactly. Because it all depends on is it a combination of do you basically have to do all the work from the ground up?
I feel that a lot of redesign of the network code had to go in, because I don't know if you've noticed, if you go into people have argued various different things like, oh, you can do a 4v4 dark sectors, so what code do they have to re-envision, so on and so forth.
Oh, but those are two very different things.
Yeah,
Because the new conclave, you can't even make a team yet.
right.
Conclave is bad because it's still peer-to-peer.
Yeah, that needs
Right.
to be fixed.
Well, that's also not an easy fix, but
Well,
it'd be really nice.
just buy a few servers.
And then where are you
A
gonna
few
get the money for
servers
that?
is-
I mean,
Well, they are bleeding us. In my opinion.
I wouldn't say D are bleeding us.
Oh, okay. This is
I'm
this
happy
is
to
true.
give them my blood. Take my blood.
I do on as much occasion as I am able to.
Yeah. Same here. Which makes me think I should probably get ready for that on Wednesday or Thursday.
I was thinking the same thing.
But going back to actual dedicated servers at a dedicated farm is actually super expensive. It's not as we're not talking like a few hundred a month.
Yeah.
We're talking like maybe a few thousand a month.
And that's for
This-
that's low operation.
Yes. You know, yeah, you'd have to be very naive to think, because the problem is that high operation, high load, high bandwidth, you know,
In Canada.
it just costs a lot. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be Canada.
No, I know.
Anywhere in the world.
I'm talking from their homeland.
So it's crazy amounts of money. I don't actually really know of a single country where it's particularly cheap to actually host stuff. Maybe
See, and
certain parts of Europe.
even in the US, it's really only cheap if you are doing something like a mobile app, and which is
Yeah.
not what they're doing.
I would
Yeah.
feel like it'd be cheaper in the US by default, just because there's so many servers and so much competition.
You think that, but then you get into the whole premise of a fixed market, and
Right.
oh, well, if Bob's hosting it for $15 a month, I'll host it for $15 a month.
Yes, that's the problem. They won't necessarily go cheaper because
Match.
yeah. Uh-oh, lost audio.
User disconnected from your channel.
I gotta check on that. Oh, yeah, it looks like I'm blipping. Give me just a second. Let me drop. Give me just a second, sorry.
Hey, wake up.
Move, please. Why is Xander wanting... Oh. Where is he? Sorry, one of our guys crashed out and some of our other stuff
User
crashed.
Was moved to your channel.
The joys
Error.
of Twitch.
I think it's Twitch. This happens quite frequently, and it's very rarely my end.
I've heard recently that Twitch is suffering a lot of issues recently.
Yeah, I've been alternating a lot between really good connection and none at all. Pretty much. Like I can go from great connection where I'm running full
User
settings
disconnected from your channel.
and pushing a lot out from my end but then it'll go to I have to drop everything and even then like drop all graphical settings as low as possible, and it's still
Hey, wake up.
terrible.
Stand by while I analyze the intelligence profiles of the Grenier. Error, not a number. Did the operator enjoy this witticism?
User was moved to your channel.
Are we still
Yeah,
in the air?
we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Your chosen warrior.
He apparently it was just him.
Yeah.
Right.
My headphones
So,
are happening again.
one question I do have is how do people feel about Excalibur's changes?
Uh, I felt bad about it. I don't know how I feel quite yet. I haven't given it enough time. My initial reaction obviously was, "What? How could you do this to me? What are you doing?" I think it was kind of a slap in the face when they said, "Well, this is how it was always supposed to be."
Well, here's the problem. The real problem isn't that they changed it, is that they changed it and they didn't tell us from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of the devs posted a thing on the forum saying blah blah blah. You know,
True.
we gain nothing from hiding it, kind of thing. But blah blah blah. It's our fault that we missed it off, and we don't try and hide it from you.
well, yeah, and then Megan was the one who posted in really big letters, "Sorry, this happened." Well, not sorry. We will try to communicate better, which we appreciate. She's
But I mean, there's been God knows how many patches and whatever, you know, and like all the changes with
Buddy joined your channel.
the amount of reputation you could gain from doing stuff with Excalibur like on Draco or Stefano, and you would have thought if they really wanted to change it because of how it was working, how it was being used, they would have done it, you know, 2 months ago kind of thing.
right. And this is Diction. He's actually the channel manager.
Hi, sorry, I forgot the pod yesterday. It's really bad of me, but you know, since my computer's been crashing since the new update,
You haven't really been on.
yeah, I apologize for that. But I just want to say how you're doing and welcome to I can't pronounce your name. I apologize, sir.
Xenogelion.
But, okay,
Call me Xeno.
Zeno. All right. Well, nice meeting you, Zeno.
Nice meeting you.
Anyways, so hi everyone who's watching. Hi guest. I'm gonna probably sit here for maybe 2 minutes and then I'm gonna go back to playing Final Fantasy, cause games.
Okay. But yeah, about XCal's changes on it. Yeah, I think was it Xander or Onyx?
That wasn't me.
Oh, okay, Xander. Yeah, Xander. I totally agree. That's the bigger problem is they weren't straightforward about it. Like I think a lot of people could have accepted it. I think a lot of people could have accepted it, like in terms of making sense, if it had been, you know, told to us. Yeah.
And they told exactly what it was.
Right. I also think that I'm not a huge fan of it because even though they're saying it makes sense, it doesn't make sense that they change. It sounds more like they changed the spawning at target spear or the javelins just so that they could make this line of sight change. Because when it was spawns at Xcal and just shoots out, that made perfect sense.
Yeah, because he's like, you know, it's the energy from him or
Yeah.
Warframe or whatever thing. But I was reading that apparently it's not even actually line of sight. It's whether you
They're aware.
or the enemy is aware of Excalibur, and then a javelin will hit them based on that.
Yeah, D Drew actually put up a post actually demonstrating this, and it had basically it was a tower defense. It had a video, tower defense. Excalibur's attracting the attention of everyone apart from this one fusion mower, and when, out of line of sight, he casts radial javelin, and everything dies apart from the fusion mower, which didn't see him.
So it's really only basically you just have to attract everything's attention, and then it still dies.
EI, super jump, radial blind.
Well, no, super jump,
Right.
invisible.
No, but radial blind mid super jump causes them to get attention attracted.
I suppose.
Interesting.
Toby, I
But-
UC'd.
Yeah, I got
Personally,
killed.
I don't see this as a problem, and I actually feel it's more of a solution simply because I can so see people doing radial javelin from rooms away in various different missions, just to clear rooms. So this way, it's like, okay, well now you can't really exploit this. Yeah, it kind of sucked that DE didn't actually announce
tell
it,
us.
but I mean, stuff slips by, and I can appreciate that.
I
Yeah,
think this might be an unpopular opinion. I'm not sure, but I think Excalibur needed a nerf. That ultimate needed a nerf. It is, with being the biggest range nuke in the game, it needed to have less power than it did.
I can agree with that. I think the change to make it more based on based on awareness makes sense as opposed to just line of sight, because
Yeah.
superpowers don't need line of sight.
But then I guess you could say in a way that also brings the whole thing back to like nerfing and buffing, where Excalibur is basically used by let's say 90% of people because of radial javelin, but now they've taken away the usefulness of the spell. They haven't exactly sort of made anything else better,
Right.
so he's probably just going to fall off the map again.
I don't see that as a particularly bad thing, because this is an attitude carried over by Blizzard a lot, where, for example, in Hearthstone, does anyone play Hearthstone?
Very rarely, but yeah.
Right. Okay. So you know the premise.
Yeah. Oh, I play Magic.
There was a combination of cards that were very much exploited by hunter decks, and the win rate on those hunter decks with that exploit, not so much an exploit, but original concept. There you go. The win rate was exceptionally high, and they also saw like how people would just, if they didn't get the advantage early on, they'd quit out and things like this. So they could see.
Oh, see,
large number of people will
that's one of the
use this one type of deck.
and Wizards of the Coast does that as well. They won't do it quite as explicitly. Wizards of the Coast being the people who make Magic the Gathering,
Yeah.
which Hearthstone is based off of. I'm just telling everybody who doesn't know. I figured you did. I spent my college years doing that. My wallet did not appreciate it. My imagination did, and that's all that mattered. But
But, yeah, so the point was that it was heavily used. Blizzard didn't like the fact that so many people use this, and thus they changed it so that it was an unpopular choice. Still a choice, but an unpopular one, and as such, there were less hunter decks, and there were
Right.
more variation of decks. And I feel that that is a legitimate reason to actually do these sorts of changes. Likewise, if it's a case of DE wants to reduce the number of people using Excalibur specifically to radial javelin everything under the sun to quickly farm.
Rep levels and etc.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Rep levels and etc. Then I think it's a legitimate choice to be made. Maybe there are alternatives.
well, and that's here's a funny thing though. One of the alternatives that people tried to make also got nerfed.
Which was that?
Just a moment. My wife just reminded me that I have to go in about 15 minutes. Regardless, it was actually the E-Gate thing, which was basically you were taking.
Meg.
Well, yeah, Mag, Banshee, Necros, and either another Necros or something else, basically. And well, yeah, we did Mirage, but that's because we were awesome. But that combination basically got nerfed with the AFK change, which honestly I didn't have a problem with the AFK change. It was the
Until it hit Mesa.
right until it hit Mesa, which made no sense to me. The reason for me was Mesa is still doing something. She's like, you still have to hold the button. Yes, people can put books on their buttons or whatever, but it didn't make sense to me that she, of all people, was hit by it when that's really the only way to maximize the utility of her ability.
The fact that there is an AFK system in place is not bad in itself. The way they implemented it and what it is bad.
Yes. I agree on the necessity of it, but the thing is, they don't do it for anything positive for the user either. It's only negative.
Correct.
Like, here's an example from a different game of something like that. It wasn't an AFK system, but it was an anti-exploit system, if you would. Final Fantasy XIV has had a long standing of, just the series of Final Fantasies, like, let's make the most things overpowered and beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, following that, there was a Paladin class skill called Bulwark, which basically nullified all damage. And it pretty soon turned into every tank in the game was nearly either, like, mained a Paladin or had a warrior but liked Paladin more, because they can just nullify all damage for like 10 seconds.
Right.
And that 10 seconds, for an example, could be used in a raid called the Binding Coil Bahamut against Twintania. And Twintania is this giant dragon. She does this one move that completely destroys you if you don't do cooldowns. Paladins intentionally would save their 2.5 minute cooldown just for that move, so they could just sit there and be like, I give no fucks. And, the Square Enix saw this, kind of trend happening. They're like, there's like a 3-to-1 ratio for Paladins to warrior classes within tanking. Let's change that. So what they did is they made it so it'll do that same thing, but against certain bosses, there is punch through that happens with transference damage. So now it's not so much a popular choice, just like you were saying with World of Warcraft or Blizzard and their Hunter decks.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of evened out, and there's like a 50-50. You're gonna get a paladin or a warrior in a dungeon. And the way they implemented that took weeks of them crafting up an idea to do it. The way I feel that Digital Extremes does similar things in Warframe is they like go to a company meeting. They're like, how can we make this idea shittier? And they throw it against the wall and see how the response happens, which is
I don't know if it's that bad.
I don't know if it's that bad either, but I feel that's what happens, like, from a player standpoint. Like,
I would definitely say, go ahead, Zeno.
I wouldn't say it's that bad. Going, I hate my community. I don't know why they're pirates, but yeah. I'm gonna throw their shit under the bus. I think that's kind of extreme. Because obviously they want their player base happy, and they want to make Warframe the full game it could be. When obviously they introduced Arcwing, it was like, oh my god, this is breaking the mold.
Yeah, no, it was, and I loved the shit out of me some Arcwing, but now it's boring. So,
well, yeah, you could say that about any part of Warframe because it's nothing but a grind fest.
It's a theme park. It's a theme park game.
Yeah, but even so, he tries to remember his original point, stalling for time. Damn it, interrupted. Can't remember. What were we saying?
Something about theme parks where it used to be they want to make everybody happy. They tried to do that with Arcwing. It broke the mold.
It was originally the meeting. They want to break the mold. Things with Arcwings. but obviously people react negatively to certain things. I know certainly I reacted negatively to the Arcwing stuff when
You got stuck in the mesh.
no. Oh, yeah, there was that. But no, it's when the loot you would get from doing an interception was generic stuff you could get in any mission.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That was upsetting. But DE don't really just turn around and go, well,
This.
nuts to them.
Yeah.
They will
Yeah.
actually see what can we do, and legitimately try to support their customers. Sorry, their customers, and I think that's great of them. Likewise, I think the community can be really unjustifiable and go things like, Soma Prime doesn't do as much damage as the Balto Prime. Buff Soma Prime.
Yeah, I do think that gets just stupid.
That's because I know for a fact that the Soma Prime does like 2,500 crit damage, and it's like a crit-based weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get your point that it's if two things are not exactly equal enough in a player's eyes, they don't want to play the other thing because it's not as good as their favorite weapon or the most damaged weapon.
The child piling in its crib.
DE do spend the time. They quite obviously spend the time to actually consider what the feelings of the player base,
Right.
and not just go,
Need the feels.
we've got your money.
Right.
We don't care.
Yeah, Onyx don't host this time. Sorry, one of our guys that drops frequently attempted to host, and that did not go over well.
Things went south, and people went souther.
Yes. That I will say a lot of the stability had gotten better in terms of like dropping. I don't know that I had dropped
Bad internet.
right, exactly, except for people that already are going to end up dropping a lot anyway.
Yeah, we just had did you guys already talk about the new EXP reduction?
Nope.
Oh,
No, not yet.
New one?
the new one. Yes, they reduced all experience across the board.
Cool.
Was it
Right,
across the board or just for the
so
spy stuff?
It's across the board. I looked at it.
No XP, no credits.
No resources.
They've
Yeah.
made it so you actually have to invest time into the game now, like an actual
Excellent.
MMO. Well, yes,
Well, see-
but they could have done that with just resources and credits. But they across the board, like full server side, just like boom, 50% reduction in everything. So, yeah, that holy shit, why?
Well,
It's kinda geared
here's the thing, it
towards
makes
an MMO.
everything harder to enjoy the stuff you want to, because you have to do all of the things you don't. While I understand that is obviously part of it, because I played Lotro, I know how this goes. It just gets too far sometimes.
Yeah.
One question I have for you guys is when you are playing when you're leveling some equipment, right? Say you're leveling the new chainsaw fists. How do you do it?
Well, previously we would do Stefano, but now we basically just play.
Right. So you just play content and then
Deal with
get
it
it done,
afterwards.
sort of thing.
Yeah, and do what we need to do otherwise.
Typically what I do, and from my interactions with the community, I feel a lot of the player base go to Seshura.
Sekiro.
They will go there, they will level their equipment, and a lot of the player base will actually go 5 and out. I hate 5 and out.
You are among friends.
Again, the credits, weren't they? Just doing
Right.
5 waves, leaving, getting 10,000 credits, doing it again.
It's not quite as useful as it used to be.
No.
They could do a T4 survival, right? Get to 5 minutes, and you will actually get something like 50,000 credits.
But it's the keys.
That's what reps for.
Yeah, except since they
It's random and
took away our ability to get exact. Well, I think the big thing is we don't get exactly what we want anymore, so people don't like it.
again, it's
don't
like
mind
say they're making everything longer to do, reducing the amount of things you get, like say resources and whatever, and credits to, you know, get new things and whatnot.
Well,
And then making everything like, you know, ways to do it, like survivals and stuff, harder to get into.
Right, and in the same way, like
Slows the whole game down.
I also used to always do Seshura for pretty much everything in terms of just getting some credits while I was there and for leveling. The problem is my now former alliance is one of the culprits of greedy milk.
The fuck out of everyone.
Yes.
Oh, I want to pick your brains.
Okay.
We won't do it now because I'm pretty certain you said you're supposed to be leaving very soon.
Yes, I am. You can always reach me on Twitter.
I will reach you on Twitter. I want to pick your brains. And, but yes.
Ask the question. We'll get to you. How about that?
Well, is all the theory crafting going on the forum actually accurate, basically?
Theory crafting. What do you mean?
Oh, like our talks about taking down formers, or which part?
So basically, there's the Alliance Mafia.
Oh no, that exists. That's true.
Right, so that's true. Also, the fact that the Alliance Mafia will threaten other alliances.
Yes.
Yep. They've threatened us before. This is actually an alliance made up.
Post ice clans.
Yes.
But it's just
Okay.
like, how can you? What could you possibly threaten them with?
Well, okay, so the leader of the Ice Alliance, from what I can gather during my time there, because I was the leader of Invictus for a spit, which is their do you know what a Chicago Shuffle is?
No, but I do know of Invictus.
Okay, a Chicago Shuffle is when you have it's a con. You have a bunch of places that have really low taxes or really high taxes, and you make one the culprit, or not the culprit at that point.
Right.
With it is right now, Invictus is the lesser of the Chicago Shovel, so people go there and feed Invictus, you know, materials and stuff, and then they donate those materials from the vault into the Alliance vault.
Right.
So that's what's going on there. And when I told them that was bullshit and they shouldn't be doing that, I was threatened with, like, we'll hack your account, we'll take it away, we'll kill your clan, stuff like that.
Which is pretty stupid.
Which is stupid, but it's still a threat. So I didn't.
Yeah,
appreciate
it's still
that.
effective.
And I retorted with you with a solid hand on my forearm and my fist up in the air, and I left the clan with half their clan dismantled. I dismantled half their dojo as a goodbye. And the leader was very pissed about that and told his clan members. No, but he told me I was a fuckface before I did this. Like, he did a bunch of shit like that pissed me off, and he deserved every ounce of what I gave him. But he then told all the Alliance members to come to our stream page and start harassing the regular viewers.
Of which I was not a viewer at the time, but I was a member at the time.
Yeah. And Toby was there, and he was like, "That's not okay." Like, you know.
Pretty much. I was rather ticked because he had actually come in. We were all, the whole alliance was on raid call at the time. We were on there, and I was like, I don't really feel like, just messing with this guy because he's been pretty nice to me.
Yeah.
Like he just popped in. We made fun of people that were being stupid in a mission with us, and went along our merry way.
But it exists, and the leader, and this is going back to my point, the leader of the Alliance is some fucking rich asshat who has nothing better time, like, he's just like a multi-millionaire, literally.
Right.
He just sits there and pays players to do things. He literally has a bot network of people running their own
Not
content.
literally a botnet, but yeah.
But He's basically like, here's $20 for the day if you go grind nothing but credits and donate them all to the Alliance. So he's got like 50
Yeah.
accounts doing that a day.
$20? Wow, that's kind of, yeah.
Well,
That's
that's
theoretical, obviously.
platinum though. That's
Wow.
the reason.
Or I mean, it'll still be the most wins, but yeah. Right. I mean, right now they're not getting anything. The problem is, whenever they do hold Seshura, that's a lot of people trying to level, and they're just getting everything goes to them. Yeah. I think they've actually moved up to 90 on all of their rails. Sorry, 99. 99. My problem. They have they seriously, if you look on look up ice, yeah, look up ice on Twitter. Ice and one other person. I don't. Oh, so, well, it's no. I'm trying to think of the person. It's Schizo, which I'll send you his stuff later. But basically, their little apology thing was very much not an apology. Okay, I gotta go. Um, yeah, basically. Thank you very much. Thank you much, Zeno. Oh, everything got silenced again. Sorry about that, everybody. Bye bye.